listening to Second Wind with Joyce Buford, where women who are ready to expand their life adventure discover the tools to stop playing small and tap into the courage required to enjoy their second wind. Welcome.
Good morning, or wherever you are that you come to Second Wind with me, Joyce Buford. It's great to have you here. And remember, this was a show that was really created for you. When I went through my transition, painful transition, I really wanted something like this that could support me, could bring me in, could heal my mind, turn me into a different direction, and offer me support and connection. So that's why Second Wind is here. And my promise to you is that my guests will be able to bring the tools that you can use in your life. Whatever that is, whoever appeals to you, that is your teacher, perhaps, for the next few months. So anyway, I am delighted to share my guest today. Her name is Gillian Harris. She is a spiritual advisor. Now, she specializes in metaphysics and conscious creation. She often is used as an intention coach by those who want to learn how to activate their own alchemy. Gillian is a teacher of conscious creation techniques, how to use aroma, stones and crystals, colors, strategic thought, and authentic emotion to manifest at will. She's a longtime medium, channel, Intuit, Ordained Minister, Reiki Master, and holds a master's degree in spiritual psychology. She is an inspirational speaker. I could tell you that because I've just been listening to her podcast. I've loved every minute. And she's a 4-time published author. Now, she's based in Southern California, where you can find Gillian off-roading in the desert, where she facilitates sound baths. I'm anxious to hear more about that, Gillian. Under the stars, oh my gosh, and guided world peace. And CEF meditation, I'm thinking that's...
CE5.
It's what?
CE5.
What is that?
CE5 is human-initiated contact with people who live on other planets.
Oh my.
Yeah.
We've not talked about that before.
We haven't.
No, it's a meditation. Now, today, you could tell she, oh my goodness, she's so studied and knows so many different subjects. I mean, and she's only 22.
Oh, I love you.
Thank you.
Yes.
But she's so gifted that really we had to decide. She decided on a topic that we were going to talk about today. And I think it's so appropriate for you all listening to this today. So we're going to talk about your romance clock.
Yeah.
Specifically the processing, healing, and clearing needed through inner work to conclude the previous relationship. Oh, how many doors are still open on our past relationship?
Yeah.
Oh, romance depression is not like a flu that should just be allowed to run its course and have its way with you. It can be managed, shortened, and solved. Amen. Amen.
Absolutely.
So please just tell us. I'm so ready. Welcome, Gillian.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Joyce. It's a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate this opportunity. But yeah, loving to get the word out to people about basically it's what we're made of, how we're designed. And I don't want to, this is my opinion, my humble opinion, that we're spirit beings. And so how to function then as spirit beings rather than what we've been taught as just this physical thing. And everything is A, B, and C and black and white. And it's really not like that. There's so much that goes on that we cannot see, and that we are
Right.
controlling through our thoughts and through our feelings, our emotions and whatnot.
Mhm.
So yeah, you know, you have a romance, and I don't know if you know some folks who they ended a romance or it ended on them.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time, and they're still grieving it, and they're still focused on it. And it could be years and years later. Oh, and I heard he's married somebody else now. I mean, you know, it's still in it rather than going on to their own thing, and it becomes like part of their identity. Personally, for me, I have been single this entire incarnation. I have not been married in this one. I'm one of those people. But I have had some significant, long, you know, relationships. But the thing is, as a single person, when you end a relationship, then, you know, there you are, and your inclination is to couple again, naturally. But if you're grieving off the last one, you really, the next one, it's either going to be a rebound thing, which does not feel good.
Right.
It doesn't work well either. So
Right.
you don't do that. But so then, okay, how long is this going to take? You know, I got to wait until I feel okay. And then you don't know what to do to make yourself feel of it. You figure there's nothing to do. You just be in it. This is just the way it is. No, he's
Right.
happy now, and here I am, you know.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So why is he able to move on and she is not?
Exactly, you know, or and not to say that that's always the way it is gender wise,
Right.
statistically or anything. Of course, it works both ways, you know, depends
Yeah.
on who's left. How come I, as the one who's left, am not able to move forward as fast as the one who left me? Like that, you know,
Right.
regardless of the gender thing. So, you know, when a relationship ends, it is like a death, you know, and
It
that's
is a
something
death.
to acknowledge. Yeah. And to belittle that does not help the situation at all.
Right.
It really actually is. The relationship itself kind of makes a life, you know, becomes a form of energy that we, you know, get nurtured by.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden it's not there. So then what happens? Did you know I have a course, Joyce? A class?
Yes, I saw it on your website, but
Okay.
that's all.
Yeah. So I have a class that actually goes through all of these parts. There's processing, and there are parts, you know, that we need to actually look at that we don't normally look at when we're just simply, I want to say, victimized by, you know, by a relationship that isn't anymore, and we stay stuck. And the stuckness is about where our mentality is, what our thoughts are. And if you're going to allow yourself to just go into that, I'm too fat, I'm too this, or I'm not whatever enough, I must not have done this right or that right, and all of that could be incorrect, you know. But then you allow yourself to immerse yourself in it, and so now you just feel worse and worse and worse. So one of the very first things that I talk about, that I teach people to do, is to follow their EGS. You know, you got your GPS, got your EGS. Your EGS is your emotional guidance system. And since we are spirit beings and it's all about our emotion, and we actually create by way of what we feel, because that sends out vibration that literally creates, that's the law of attraction. That's what's working. So if that be the case, then we need to stay in check with what we feel. What are we feeling? And so the one thing when it happens, you're in a relationship, a situation, you had an argument last night, and it was bad, and you know that it's done, and you're not, this is definitely nuked. You're not back from this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So rather than staying in the he said, and then he did this, and then he did that, and then I told him this, and then he said, and you know, and can you believe I woke up this morning and my text, so instead of all that, and you're immersing yourself in the story, that's just making you feel worse and frustrated, whatever, no solution. How about stop for a second and go, okay, yeah, that's what happened. How do I feel right now? How did that moment make me feel? What's the result of how I feel? And in asking that question of people, often I get many sentences. So I'll let them get a few sentences in, because it's usually pretty juicy and interesting. But I got to stop them, because, you know, we can do story, all day long, and I gotta say, we gotta find the word that identifies what that emotion is that you're feeling. Is it disrespect? Do you feel abandoned? Do you feel not worthy? Do you feel, what is it?
Right.
So when you can find what that emotion is, then we got our work cut out for us, because now we get to take a journey. And in this course I take, it's pre-recorded. And I love that, like in the second, there are 7 or 8 modules to it. The second module, we really get into the processing and the work. So it's only a 20-minute recording, but to actually get through it will take you 2 or 3 or 4 hours. I mean, just however deep you want to go. There's several places you're asked questions, you pause, and then you go in there and you think about it. Again, one of the first things is like, okay, abandonment or whatever it is. When have I felt this before? It's probably not the first time. And you want to go back and figure out when. So I'm recommending this processing where we do this this procedure with ourselves, and actually I teach it to you so that you're able to handle any of your stuff this way, and be able to go, okay, wait a minute, it's not the situation, the person, or the thing that is I'm upset with. It's what is this making me feel? Okay, let's journey there. And the chances are there's some unresolved stuff in your past where you first got this emotional reaction. And then you created some beliefs around it. And you want to look at what those beliefs are, because those helped you to create where you are today.
So
some
of these we can carry even from childhood, though, right? It can go back that far.
Yes, indeed. That's mostly where it comes from. Childhood, and then some teenage stuff too, and some young adolescent stuff too. And we can create brand new, fresh stuff in our adulthood. But a ton of our life curriculum comes from our childhood. And, we sometimes learned it from somebody else. We saw our parents, interact in this certain way. And we thought, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. Next thing you know, we're living like that. Or we saw it on television. We always watched that show and we believed that's the way it's supposed to be.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, how many of us, I'm just asking, this just kind of popped.
Yeah.
How many of us carry one of our parents' burdens, feelings? Is that common that we might do that? Or do we create our own feelings, our own reaction, our own emotions?
Interesting. Both. And unfortunately, I think the easiest one without thinking is to take on what you see other people doing and experiencing. You've heard that term, oh my gosh, I am so my mother.
Oh, yes. I hate it when I start saying that.
Right.
This is just like mom. I'm turning into my mother.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that does happen. So that's when we have to really stop and look at it and go, okay, I got this from her. This isn't even mine. And, and for me, is this true even?
Yeah, that would be a good question.
Yes. Well, we always got to get to that. Is that even true? And there's a place where you look at all of the emotions you're having, and they all source from your belief system. So what is the belief? And you want to identify that, you want to spotlight it, but beam right on it and look at it. What is that belief that is leading me to feel these things? Belief first, then we feel, then it leads to thoughts. And then, the rest just unfolds. So what is that belief? And then is it true? Is it even true? And I'm telling you, a lot of folks believe, well, yeah, it is true. I'm not good enough. I am too fat. I am too whatever, too skinny, too redheaded or whatever. So, and so then where did you get that? Because that's not true. Like the bottom line for all of us is that we are perfect. We're perfect in our imperfections, and to love ourselves as we are, no matter what. So what? You have 128 pounds to lose. So what? Seriously, you are still absolutely perfect. And only in knowing that perfection is your body going to go along with you and with grace and ease and assist you in doing this, good thing, because it knows that you love you and it loves you back. But if you're having that conflict of energy, then there's going to be, I can go into that for a while too. But yeah, so the emotion is such an important part, that's the foundation of how we get from A to Z.
Okay, what if you are coming from a relationship that really was not so well? For instance, you were living with a narcissist,
Yes.
and so you endured some pains that were created by just the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you use that process, your process, to go through recovering from trauma?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay.
Absolutely. So you're saying in the relationship as it played out day to day, page to page,
Yeah.
you endured stuff as a result of this narcissist's natural way of being.
Yeah.
Which was painful for you. And now you want to know how to recover from that. Absolutely. These processes that I teach that's specifically what they're for. But a lot of that healing has to do with understanding. And part of what I didn't, I should have continued to finish this, when we look back and we see where we get these things, we also have to do a level of forgiveness. Yes. Not only to, the person, I mean, it's not their fault that we took on their thing, but forgive that. And then also forgive ourselves for doing that, for taking on this misperception. It was just part of our learning, and now we get it. So yay, and applaud ourselves for that.
Right.
Yeah. I also wanted to say, there's a lot to this in terms of, the whole spirit family thing. How many soulmates do we have in any one incarnation? And I believe that there's more than one. And I also believe that I believe in reincarnation. So all lifetimes are happening now, and there is really no time, okay? And that there's a bleed over. So you're in this relationship, and okay, this person is a narcissist this time in this life. But the chances are that this is the first time you guys have encountered each other is not good. The chances are you are engaged in relationship in other incarnations at this very moment. And that what you were experiencing is partly a bleed over of what you were experiencing there. And so then while you're in it here, you have an opportunity to do some healing with it, which is going to affect it there. If that makes sense.
In the past?
Yeah, except that there's no.
Would it be past? No.
It's really kind of more of like a parallel, because there is no past, really. Actually, the clock it's just a tool to use right here so we can have some suspense and cliffhangers.
Right.
But really there's not any time, and it's this illusion. It's like, oh my God, my wrinkles are coming. I gotta hurry, it's like, oh yeah. So, but it's not real. It's fake. It's an illusion. But so what we work on here, we fix there. What happens over there, when you bump into somebody and you are instantly attracted or instantly like, I don't know what it is, but I really just don't like that person. They haven't done anything. They didn't even say anything. You just know. That's bleed over, chances are,
Really?
Yes, ma'am. And so in your relationships, know that these people that you are bonding with, chances are you already knew them. Not only that, this is an agreement that you made with them prior to any incarnation. An agreement to have this relationship so that you would have the lessons that you are now getting and learning. Yes. Because that's all life is for. And these romances that we're in are one of the best ways for us to get our learning and evolution.
Well, do some people have more lessons to learn than others?
I think so. It seems apparently so.
Yes.
But, that's just as we go through each life, we evolve, right? So it
Yeah.
depends on where you are.
Yes.
But then, so you want to ask, why did you need to be in a relationship with someone of that kind of psychology?
Yeah.
Right. And then there's a part of the process that I put folks through. It's like, not only you kind of know already what the damaging things were, what the results were that weren't so good,
right?
But stop for a sec and actually make a little list of what was great about that relationship. What were the good things? What did you get out of it positively? Because what I find is often we end these relationships, or they end, or, and in their way of ending us, we can't think of anything wonderful. It's like, well, dang, why were you in it in the first place? So we have to stay, in alignment with that and get that.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Yes. Because really, using myself as an example, if I had not gone through the divorce, I probably wouldn't be doing a podcast today, which I truly love to do.
Right.
Because I get to talk to so many people, so many interesting people.
Yeah.
That it's just opened up the world to me.
See, so that's one. And then the other thing that I want to ask is, if you don't mind, if you don't want to answer, please, because it is personal, but what do you see that there are other things how you've evolved and grown, and how you benefited from the healing that you went through out of that relationship?
Oh, definitely. I do see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff that wouldn't have happened otherwise.
True.
Yeah. And so that's the part where, like, when I look at my life anyway, and I always want this for others, that they get that this hard time that they may be going through, this devastating time, like, gut wrenching, feel like you just want to die kind of time. If you really, though, work through it and work your way out of it, up and out of it, and heal through it, then you're able to look back and to know that you really, really healed. You can look back and go, you know what? Thank you to that person, that situation, that, circumstance that took me to my knees and below, and because here I am. And without that, and without, what transpired, I wouldn't be right here, right now, in this blissful place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. There's so much good if you want it.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're willing to have the lessons. But what a lot of people do is they end the relationship, or it ends, whatever. And immediately they want to fill that space with something else or more of what they just had, without really doing the work to clean. It's almost like putting on deodorant without taking a shower first. You know what I mean?
That's a good analogy. I like that.
Thank you. It was kind of gross, but yes, it was.
It's to the point. We all get it.
Totally.
We got it.
Yeah, exactly. So I do conscious decoupling ceremonies, and I started doing those years ago. And I also help folks with the processing as well. But I do just adore when people have gone through that themselves. They've gone through the actual processing of the decoupling, so they know that they're ready for the ceremony. You're not ready for the ceremony until you and your partner, or if your partner's not going to be in it, like, it's just not safe for that person to be in it. But you can decouple consciously from a slew of people. Actually, they don't have to be present at all, and you can still get it done. So, yeah. And this is actually, in conscious decoupling, you are you're in a place where there's so much healing that's happened. You are 1000% okay with that person going on with their life without you, and being happy and blissful, and you are ready to go on and be happy and blissful now too.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's a beautiful thing.
Now, that's one program that you have. Do you have other programs on your site? That's a pretty big one, I can tell. But
well, you mean this class,
important? Yes.
Master Your Romance Clock. Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, coming out of I'm preparing the other side of Master Your Romance Clock. I wanted to do the healing first, and we're going to do the creation, the conscious creation of that ultimate romance that you want, based upon you having that clean slate, finally. But yeah, I do have lots of classes and stuff on my website.
And your website is, oh, I love this. Oh, you say it. I'll listen.
I can tell that you want to say the one, because there's two ways to get to the same website, but the fun way to get there is theconsciouscougar.com. Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't that sound good?
Absolutely. And I'm just all about, so my thing about the being a cougar, and I've really been working on this lately. In fact, that's probably my next podcast, because I don't believe that being a cougar has very much to do with who you want to have sex with at all. In fact, you can be married to, say you're a woman and you're married to somebody 10 years older than you. Mm-hmm. You can still be a cougar, because to me, it has to do with how wise you are, how confident you are, how savvy you are, how much mastery you have gained in your life, So that to me is being a cougar. And also it is about being beautiful, your beautiful self, keeping that up by any means necessary is what I always say.
Right.
And those qualities are attractive to everybody, to a bunch of age ranges. So, there's a perspective of being a cougar that's not positive, that it's almost like, she's molesting that man, because she's so much older than him, the 50 or 60-year-old woman molesting the 30-year-old man or whatever. Yeah. But that's not the case, really. That isn't it. It's not her fault. Like, why should she be put down for being beautiful and being so attractive to even someone that young, Right. But what I do find as a conscious cougar is that, we shouldn't make that mistake in thinking that it's just the younger guys that are, so wonderful. Men who've been around the block and who've gained that wisdom and are just, each gray hair is about something wonderful, a quality like that fine wine.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Now you live in California.
I do.
Beautiful California.
Yes.
On the beach.
Yes. Well, I'm not on the beach. I'm close to it though. No, but I'm close to it. I do like the drive over to it. I'm about 15 minutes from the actual ocean. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So,
and how did you decide on your course? That's what is it?
Master Your Romance Clock?
Yes. No, Under the Stars.
Oh, so that's not awesome. A class though. That's actually a company I have. StargateAdventure.com is how you get there. And so Stargate Adventure LLC is a touring company. I guide tours, small caravans of folks in their four-wheel drives, their Jeeps and Tundras or whatever best be four-wheel drive with enough clearance underneath. And we go off-roading in the desert. We drive from like 8 a.m.-ish to like 4 p.m.-ish. And then we set up camp somewhere. We set up camp. I do 1 night, 2 night, and 3 night adventures. As the sun's going down and, everybody's relaxing and enjoying their meal and whatnot, I have my singing bowls there, and I don't travel with, the Tibetan bowls, which are metal and won't break and stuff. Off-roading is bumpy and whatnot, but I just really appreciate the sound and the vibrance of crystal singing bowls. So I package them carefully and I travel with those off-road, which is crazy, but we appreciate it once I'm actually doing the sound bath. So I do the sound bath, which is relaxing. And then I do a world peace meditation, which the globe desperately needs right now. But what's awesome about that is it sets up a vortex of love where we are, this space, this energy field. There's so much love happening right there, which is extremely attractive to folks who live on other planets. I mean, we're looking to see, we're watching the skies, we're in the desert where there are tons of sightings anyway, which is one of the reasons why, I go there. But so we may be able to see folks. Do a little show for us. Or there are other ways though that people can have their experience, their CE5 meditation. Did I say what that is yet, or did I only say that to you before? CE5 meditations is what happens after the world peace meditation. So we've got this love vortex happening, and then we do the CE5, which is human initiated contact with folks who live on other planets. That's why I'm talking UFOs and stuff right now. So, but we don't have to have this experience by way of seeing flying saucers or whatever. You know, there are other ways. Remote viewing is extremely powerful and a great skill to be able to have, something to be able to develop, not where you necessarily need to remote view onto another planet. You can remote view right here on this planet, you know, it's just a good thing to have. But we are expanding our consciousness and actually allowing that oneness with those in other places. And so one of the most profound things that I've heard of, a friend of mine was in trance and doing remote viewing in this meditative state, and she saw herself walking down a hallway. She looked into a room and saw someone else on another planet meditating. And what she felt was they connected. That person was doing exactly what she was doing at the same time. And they were aware of each other, which is just beyond beautiful. And she had so much more to say about that. But many of the trips, I have friends who are other mediums. I'm a medium and I'm a channel, and I love taking folks who are really skilled at those things. They've been doing it for a long time, and it's not, you know, freaky to them. They just, you know, sit down, just do it. Those folks have so much information to bring to the table after. And one of the cool things is after we do this, and I've really only done it with more than 2 people, like twice. But afterwards, to have everybody share their experience is fabulous. And it's amazing how one person is like right there. One person went on the spaceship. One person didn't see anything. One person, you know, that just, and at the very beginning in the meditation that leads into the CE5, we are also setting boundaries, because not everybody wants to get as close, you know, as other people want to get.
Right.
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I want to be abducted right now. You know?
Oh no. Have you really? Have you really?
I have actually, but I wasn't abducted. I had a choice. You know, yeah, I was given the option. Would you like to go with us? And, you know, we'll show you around stuff. And I said, can my friend come? And they said, no. And I said, okay, I'll come anyway. So I went, yeah. But yeah, so you have the option of how you want to experience these things so that it actually is more, you know, beneficial for you.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's information.
That is totally.
Yeah. It's the intergalactic.
No, I'm just, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where I stand on that. I'm kind of like, okay. You know, it just
I know.
So foreign. Are we speaking a different language now?
I know. Well, so and look at what we have done for years here. As when we see UFOs and stuff, the first thing we do is, that didn't happen, don't tell anybody, you know, because you know, that's our reaction. But now the Navy is starting to talk about it a lot. And so it's with these authorities, these officials, especially military folks, the Air Force, yes, they were flying right next to us. The Navy's talking about what's going on under the ocean, about bases under the ocean that clearly are extraterrestrial folks having their stations underground, you know, and under the water. They're flying out with vigor and they're flying in with vigor. And the Navy is jotting all of this down, and they're just now starting to talk about it. So, you know, there's stuff
why do you think they haven't talked about it? Because it's so woo-woo for us, or I think far out?
You know how we have bad people on this planet? And then we have good people on this planet? Unfortunately, we have bad people on other planets, and we have good people on other planets. And I believe that the military has been, you know, made aware of the ones who mean business and are not necessarily friendly. But they also have been made aware of the ones who are here and they're on our behalf, who are on our side and are friendly, fully friendly. So that's why there's a lot of, you know, we shoot at stuff that a lot of them have fallen. I don't know why the one in Roswell fell, if that was because we shot at it or not, but I do know I saw a documentary where this gentleman was in the Air Force, I believe, or he might have been the Army, but he believed that there were at least 6 different species of extraterrestrials currently intermingled on Earth. And the reason he believed that there were 6 was because it was that number of different types of species of extraterrestrials that he and a group of others in his military branch were taught to do first aid on when their spaceship crashed. Yeah, because often they find live beings on these spacecraft. And so they have different kinds of skin, different situations. So how to do first aid on these different types of beings. And he learned how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't even know how their body works to react with our bandages.
Yeah, I know. There's so much more to say about that. There's so much more. It's huge. It's gigantic. But yeah, so I focus on positive. And, you know, I'm an ordained minister. I believe in God, you know, so I use that energy to create a clear and safe space to operate from. Yeah.
And with all the, should I say, degrees or all of the different things that you know, is there still a list that you want to expand your knowledge? I mean, you seem like you have tons.
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like at this point in my life, I'm just about getting better at everything that I already do. You know, just getting to know everything better. Aromatherapy, getting to know that better, doing that better. You know, with my mediumship and channeling and stuff, just getting better at it. In fact, I learned a new symbol the other day. As an Intuit, we get symbols a lot of times for the readings. You know, so I got a square with a circle in the center when I was talking to somebody. And I'm like, and I got a feeling about what that meant. And I'm like, okay. The only way for me to really know is I'm going to have to get verification from this person. So I said, I'm so sorry, this is so personal, but the relationship that you're in, it's not quite, you guys are not together, right? It's not, he's like, no, yeah, I'm taking my time on that. She's awesome and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, square with the circle in it. Okay, got it, yay. So when I'm talking to somebody else and that square with the circle happens again, the way that I saw it that time, I don't even have to ask. I know exactly what I'm seeing and what the message is, you know, so yeah, there are things like that. I've got probably, you know, I could sit and list about 50 or 60 of the symbols, but at one time I only had 1 or 2 and they grow over time. So just get better and better.
Tell us about the books that you've written. You have 4.
Oh, yes, I have 4. The first one, The Secrets of Lost, The Validity of Multi-Dimensional Existence. And on that one, I do the best I can. I really, really, really do the best I can to explain how it is that reincarnation happens and what it is that, what could potentially happen if like more than one person, I don't like the word died because batteries died, you know, people don't die. But if you left this lifetime, like in a plane crash, like in the series Lost. So I actually use Lost, the TV series, as the foundation. And that's kind of cool because I've got like more than 250 timestamps in that book of where this, that, and the other thing happens. And I'm talking about mediumship and just all these metaphysical things that are happening in there. And half of the writers of that show were not even aware of where they were going. But it's clear to me that there is another portion of the writers who were really very spiritually in tune and knew exactly where they were going with this. But it's fascinating. That one was great. Then I did I took 20 or so metaphysical tools and showed how to use them, law of attraction stuff, conscious creation stuff, in creating the body that you want. So for weight release, but what's funny is you look through the list of tools and you can use these tools on anything, but this particular book is about, it's 20 metaphysical tools for weight release. That's actually what it's called, but you can use those tools for anything that you want to create. So there's that. Then there's a book that goes along with that, which basically you're just sort of supporting yourself day to day in what you're doing and journaling it. And then the most recent book that was published was Have We Met? This is my favorite one. This is the one. This is a great one. It's available not only in hard copy, but audio. Have We Met? How to Identify Your Reincarnated Loved Ones. That one is based on a true story. It's a story of soul recognition. Someone that I knew, he was in his 50s, I was in my 20s. And then we met again when I was in my 50s and he was in his 20s. And as a matter of fact, that is the catalyst for the Conscious Cougar. And how she actually even began, and the stuff that I started to do from that platform. Because I'm like, wait a minute, this is weird.
Wait a minute.
But then that book also, that ends up being in this particular incarnation for him. Like I've met him twice, two different people for me in my one incarnation. But it's, so for him in this particular incarnation, as he is now 30, I think, years old, it's not supposed to be a romance, he and I. It was really to get the story. And actually, as you read the book, you find out, I don't want to wreck it for anybody, but as a medium, I call myself a sloppy medium. And this is part of what I'm working to get better at. I don't want to be sloppy anymore, but I have made an agreement with folks. And so from the other side, knowing that I'm a medium, someone took advantage of the situation and wanted him to know they were okay.
Oh, yeah.
And this doesn't get revealed to me until I channel and actually communicate with them towards the end of the book. And I'm writing the book like a journal. And I give him a copy of the book. I'm like, here you go. Here's the book. And I need to say, there's a portion in there where I'm having an interaction with somebody. I need to ask you, do you know this person? Where is that person? And I would have had no way of knowing this information. So being an evidential medium has been like, that's just like, oh my God, thank you so much. That's what I've always wanted, just to even blow my own mind, and that's what happened in this one. So so I get led around and things happen and I get really into them. I'm clairsentient. So that's emotion, and I'm able to read emotion, but sometimes I don't read it well at the beginning. I'm just in it. And so, but now at this point in my, development, I realize, okay, this isn't mine. It's huge and it's not mine. I have to figure out where it's coming from. Yeah.
At what age did you begin understanding that you had this search for knowledge in other ways? I mean, you've done a lot in your life, and there has to be some direction that you're following, in your mind. But I'm just curious as to when your journey started. Was it in
consciously? You mean? Yeah. It's interesting. When I was a little kid, elementary school, I would get. I'm using the finger quotations, abducted. I never really, at that point, I just knew I would disappear. And at that point, really, I just knew I would be returning from someplace. I kept returning from someplace. I'd be out playing baseball with my friends, and all of a sudden, bang, I'm back from someplace I knew I had gone somewhere. I had, and I didn't voluntarily like, let's go, and it was disturbing for me. And I had no memory of where it was that I went and what happened. I only know that some time had went by. And I'd look at a friend who's standing over on second base, go, yo, did I look really weird just now? Because I'm thinking,
I need feedback.
I would ask that of friends so many times. So one day I walked in the house and I said, God, can you please make that stop happening? Amen. And that's all I said. And with clarity that a prayer works, I was completely confident, and that never happened to me again.
Really?
So now fast forward, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. During this time, I'm the first book that I read, like, kids read, books. And My first book, cover to cover, was the title Mental Telepathy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You
Oh,
know,
of course, everybody reads that.
yes, yes. And then I had a math tutor who I didn't want to talk math with because I had a crush on him. He was cute, but he was 21, I was 13, so that, you know, was not supposed to happen. And my dad hired him, and he worked with my dad, so that wasn't nothing, you know. But he would engage me in my thoughts that I was having, which were always about metaphysics. I always wanted to talk about, you know, clairvoyance, clairsentience. I didn't know those names, those words, but I was talking about those things. And one day I said to him, I described this person who I kept seeing. You know, this guy who's like, I don't know, in his young 20s or something. He's got dark brown hair and he's wearing a black jacket, and he's walking on a sidewalk, and there's like some bushes. There's like a row of bushes, and he's walking, he's carrying some books or something. And as in my maturity, as I look at this person, he's very confident. And I didn't know to say those words then, but he knew what he was doing. He was on his way, like maybe to a meeting or something, an ambitious type person. So this tutor, he says to me, he goes, "Oh, do you know him?" And I said, "No, I am him."
Oh.
Yeah. And that was so deep for me, I let it go for a while.
Right.
He said, keep looking into that. And I really appreciate this guy. Ken Brennicky, if you're hearing this, I still appreciate you so much, because he could have turned it off. I was so impressionable at that point. But what he did was support me in my, quest to understand this kind of metaphysics. And that question and the answer to that particular question has been the path that I've been on the entire time. So all the things that I've studied and have allowed myself to get into have been related to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked the question, is because I think people with intuitive reading, and I'm not going to say the words right, but they know that it's from you. I mean, they came here with it. So of course it has to appear before you're 20. You have signs all through your childhood.
Oh, good point. But I don't know. I mean, I believe that there is the possibility for some folks not to realize those gifts until they're way into their adulthood.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. And the reason is because they didn't need it earlier, and they didn't maybe have space for it earlier, but then maybe later they do. Because I actually believe all of us, because of the way we're made, it's our natural state to be clairvoyant, clairsentient, and clairaudient, all of that stuff. But not everybody, for instance, needs to know how to dance in any particular incarnation to have a great life,
Right.
So it's not everybody who needs to have those functions and be able to do those things in order to get through their life curriculum.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I could go on talking to you, but I don't think they're going to let me. I think we have come to the end of our time.
Amazing.
I know. This has just been so interesting and wonderful.
Well, thank you.
And I mean, some of it, Gillian, honestly, was totally new. I mean, I'm from Tyler, Texas.
I love Texas. I love your accent. It's so cute. Southern Belle.
I know. I was on a trip and I said, I said something about, I don't have an accent. And these people were from England and all over. And they just burst out in laughter when I said that.
Yeah.
Because to me, I don't have an accent. But anyway.
I love that. Yes.
Yes. So I want people to know that they do need to go to your website.
theconsciouscougar.com. Good luck on spelling conscious, right? That's always a tricky little word.
It is.
Just ask Siri how to spell it. She'll tell you.
I know. And see what all is on your website, because there's a lot there.
Yeah. When you get to the site, go to the classes and workshops page. There's a bunch of stuff there. Yeah.
Yes. And so anyway, but thank you for what you brought to my audience today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. What a treat.
Yeah. Well, whenever you want to come to Texas, you can always shoot by Tyler.
Okay. Well, I love that. I do have friends in Texas and I do plan on visiting. So I'll reach out.
I bet they're in Austin.
No. Where is she? She's out big country area. She has great
Oh,
ranch. She has acres and acres and acres and horses and all
like
that. I
Texas?
don't know what town she's in. That's terrible.
Oh,
I have to
well,
look it
that's
up.
all right. Texas is big, and some
It
people live
is.
there on a big ranch. They don't have a
Yes.
town.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
so anyway, thank you very much. It's been a treat to have you on
Absolutely.
Second Wind.
Anytime.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to speak just a minute to my listeners that, you know, there's a lot of interesting, perhaps new information that you could learn more about. If you take the time to go to Glennis, oh gosh, Gillian's, thank you. I was just lost there. Gillian's for a while. If you'll just go to our website, you're going to enjoy the time that you will be there. Share it with somebody that you know needs to know the message. That's the most important thing. Be a supporter, be a connector, and share your listening today with those that need it in your community. So thank you for being here. It's always a thrill knowing that you're sitting out there, maybe you're driving and listening to Second Wind. And I appreciate that you've taken the time. So have a great week. It's going to be all in the mind. We can make it a great week. So till next week. Bye.
Joyce Buford returns next week at the same time for another edition of Second Wind. Through the Joyce Buford Empowerment System, women are receiving the support they need through their transitions and are able to reclaim their true purpose with confidence. They receive the tools they need to map out new lives. You can find out more about her coaching services at joycebufordempowers.com.